think they're on.
No.
Nope.
This one says you're on.
Who's your three?
Does
Hello?
this go into yours? I guess we're just talking.
We're on our own again. We're gonna get there soon. Training's tomorrow. All right, so let's call the meeting to order. Convene the meeting. Roll call vote, please.
McIntyre?
Here.
Peter?
Here.
DeCook?
Here, we do have a quorum. If you'll all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for
I
which
didn't
it
understand
stands,
that.
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Well, bear with us today. The technology is coming along, but we're still in the middle of it, so we will just do what we need to do there. Okay. First on the agenda, or is there any agenda deletions or corrections? Seeing none, we have a claims agenda, or a consent agenda, with claims up first. Claims figure is $3,798,477.09, with no fringes. Meeting minutes to approve. We met on March 29, 2022 for a special meeting closed. March 30th, 2022 for a work session. March 31st, 2022 for a special meeting. And then closed. April 5, 2022 board meeting. C, approve employee payroll removal. Jamie Lee, dispatcher, sheriff's office, effective March 29, 2022. D, approve employee payroll removal. Emily Newman, motor vehicle clerk, treasurer's office, effective April 1st, 2022. E, approve employee payroll removal. Joni Shepherd, collections assistant, county attorney, effective April 22, 2022. F, approved employee payroll removal. Cindy Rogers, home care aide, public health, effective April 25, 2022. G, approved employee payroll removal. Marissa Salvers, legal assistant, county attorney, effective April 29, 2022. H, approved 6-month wage increase, Corey Anderson, motor vehicle clerk, treasurer's office, effective April 18, 2022. I, approved new hire, Timothy Vasquez, road maintenance tech 1, secondary roads department, effective April 11, 2022. J, approved employee payroll removal, Timothy Vasquez, road maintenance. We got a repeat there? Tech 1, effective April 13th, 2022. K, approved new hire, Dylan Troll, road maintenance tech 1, secondary roads department, effective April 25, 2022. L, approved new hire, Logan Scott, road maintenance tech 1, secondary roads department, effective May 2, 2022. M, approved new hire, Aaron Sweet, detention officer, sheriff's office, effective April 18, 2022. N, approved new hire, Kim Bakering, detention officer, sheriff's office, effective April 18, 2022. O, approved new hire, Miranda Bailey, zoning administrator, zoning office, effective May 9, 2022. P, approved temporary hire, Jack Eichholz, intern, zoning office, effective May 9, 2022. Q, approved temporary hire, Scott Peary, legal assistant, county attorney, effective May 18, 2022. R, approved general assistance coordinator, job description. S, approved utility assistance increase for general assistance program. T, approve abatement of mobile home taxes pursuant to Iowa Code Chapter 435.25 on VIN number M603535 in the amount of $300 plus all accrued interest. U, approve suspension of property taxes for the 2021 tax year on the following properties pursuant to Iowa Code 427.9. Parcel ID 31800000120. Parcel ID 050003000666. Parcel ID 091200000104. V, appoint Elodie Opstad to the Warren County Historic Preservation Commission to serve the vacancy to the commission due at resignation. Remaining term expires December 31st, 2023. And W, set public hearing for May 3, 2022 at 9:35 a.m. regarding proposed amendment to Chapter 41A1 District Regulations. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda as read?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
Second. Roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
DeCook.
Aye, motion carries. Number 2 on our agenda tonight is a third reading rezoning application submitted by Sean R. Westrom. Okay, and we need to go into public hearing for that.
I'll make a motion to go into, public hearing.
I'll second. Roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
DeCook.
Aye. We are in public hearing. Good evening, Lindsay.
Hi, this is the third reading of a rezoning application submitted by Sean Westrom. It was in front of you on February 15th, 2022, and there was 2 in favor and 1 against, and then it was recommended to table that application. So it was tabled to March 1st, 2022, and at that time, there was some discussion about maybe looking into, could this be incorporated into home business rules? Could this be put somewhere else in the ordinance? Since then, the state legislature has been meeting in regards to home businesses, and so I had visited with Dawn about that, and there's not really been any, they haven't settled anything yet on that. So it would have been would have actually entailed a rewrite to the home business section. So we were kind of waiting to see what the state was wanting to do. Sean is wanting to have an answer so he can figure out how to move forward. So that is, we're here with you, back in front of you tonight. We have not received any emails since March 1st. Letters did go out to all the neighbors within 500 feet again of this. Since we've met, I have actually, on April 8th, I spoke to the DOT and did some questioning on the permitting process, and so these are just some notes that I took away from that. The DOT does not take away a permit as long as they meet the state requirements and pay the fee. The zoning letter comes with the initial application, so the state wouldn't go in and take that application away from them unless they, if they have to pay that fee again and they let that relapse, then that would be something they would look at. If restrictions are put on at the county level, it's up to the county to enforce those, as the state does not get involved in restricting a application. There's no separate application at the state level for on-site versus internet car sales, and each application has to meet the state requirements, and one of those is to obtain a zoning letter from proper jurisdiction for the application process. Back in on January 10th, when the zoning commission met on this, there was a motion at that time made by Nancy Laxton to recommend approval of the Western rezoning application to the Board of Supervisors with 5 restrictions. 1 was to limit to internet auto sales. 2, all vehicles associated with this business would be limited to his 42 by 80 building. 3, the zoning change would sunset if the property was sold. 4, signage would be in conformance with the Warren County ordinances, and that was number 4. And then 5 is no additional exterior lighting for the business, and that was seconded by Douglas Rooney, and there was 3 members there that evening, and they all 3 voted in favor of that recommendation of approval to you as the Board of Supervisors. So that's kind of where we are at with this. I did receive a letter today from Janet Bunce, which is the Warren County assessor here, and it says it's addressed to Sean. It says this letter, dear Sean, this letter is to affirm per our discussion on what impact your request for rezoning your property located at 4248 R57 Highway, Norwalk, from A1 to C2 would have on surrounding property valuations. All property is valued according to the present use of each individual parcel. Zoning is not a factor when determining valuation or classification. If the Board of Supervisors approves the rezoning of your property to C2, it will have no impact on the surrounding property's value based solely on that reason. Janet Bunce, Warren County Assessor. So that is that, and my notes from the DOT is all we have received since the last, since March 1st, so. Do you have any questions for me, or? No, and I know Sean is here, and Sean and his attorney are here this evening, so I'll let them.
Okay, if you'd like to speak, feel free to come up, state your name and address, and we will hear from you.
Supervisors, I'm Terry Craffel with law firm Stuyvesant, Strong, Craffel, and Sarda as of April 1. We've added a new lawyer. 106 East Salem here in Indianola. And I'm representing Sean Westrom in his application for rezoning from A1 to C2. And I know there's already a lot of history, and I know Lindsay had already gone through the prior votes and the January 10 approval at the zoning commission, 3-0, the prior vote here at the Board of Supervisor level on February 15 with 2-1, both of those with restrictions. And I just would like to reiterate or point out that Sean is perfectly fine with honoring those restrictions and with, his zoning application request, including the restrictions. And Sean is here today to answer any questions that you may have, and I guess I'm not going to repeat all of the history that you've encountered, so.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you for being here. I don't have any questions myself.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to speak on this matter? Is there anyone online or watching via Zoom?
Is there anyone here?
Anyone online?
There's
No.
people online, but no comment.
Okay. Seeing no comments, I'll make a motion to exit or conclude our public hearing.
Second.
Roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Heater.
Aye.
DeCook.
Aye. Right, board discussion on the matter before us, which is a rezoning application presented by Sean Westrom.
I would like to make a motion to approve his application with the restrictions that were outlined.
I'll second.
Is there any discussion from the board?
Yes, I would like to apologize to Sean and let him know that I hope that your business is successful as your other businesses are.
Yeah, thank you for your patience. You've been stellar in working with the board and getting us the information we need, and your presentations have been very good, and yeah, just appreciate you hanging in there with us.
Okay, thank you. Roll call vote, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
DeCook.
Nay. All right, motion carries 2-1.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is consider $3.5 million general obligation capital loan note series 2022 with possible action. Good evening, Megan.
Hello. So this should be the last time that we've got bond approvals. We'll actually close on May 3rd. So this is just kind of wrapping up everything with that secondary road shop bond. So our first resolution that we'll need tonight is a resolution appointing BOKF-NA of Lincoln, Nebraska to serve as paying agent, note registrar, and transfer agent, approving the paying agent and note registrar and transfer agent agreement, and authorizing the execution of the agreement. So we just need a motion to accept the resolution in the form as distributed in the BOS packet for this first resolution, and then we have a second one too.
I'll make that resolution appointing the payment agent. Who is that just a motion, the note register, transfer agent, and approving the payment agent?
And
Is
he
that
said,
like just one?
you can, yeah, make one motion for this one, and to accept the resolution in the form as distributed in the BOS packet.
Okay. As the BOS packet.
This one's not so bad as the other one. That would be really long if I was reading it all to you.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion from the board? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
DeCook.
Aye. Motion carries.
All right, so the second resolution needed is a resolution approving and authorizing a form of loan agreement and authorizing and providing for the issuance of the $3,505,000 general obligation capital loan notes, Series 2022, and levying a tax to pay said notes, approval of the tax exemption certificate, and continuing disclosure certificate. So again, this is the really long one that just needs to be approved in the form as distributed in the Board of Supervisor packet.
I will make that motion.
Second.
Is there any discussion? I do have a quick point for the public. I anticipate we'll pass that as well. But this topic actually came up today in one of our earlier meetings. I inquired with Megan what the blended average, it's called TIC, what the average, basically, the interest on the note, what that blended average looked like over 20 years on this, and it was a 2.7 number. That's important to me because the 10-year treasury just hit 3% today. It might have closed a little under, I don't know, I was here. But the rates are going up, they went up, they're going up more. Getting that locked in at under 2.7 over the next 20 years makes a whole lot of financial sense in my mind. With that, we have a motion, we have a second. Roll call vote, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
DeCook.
Aye, motion carries.
It's been a long time coming.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you. 2011.
Number 4 on the agenda tonight is consider Warren County janitorial services contract with possible action.
Hello, everybody. So, in your packet, you should see two different responses we got for the janitorial RFP for the contracts. I wanted to bring this ahead just so everyone's aware of what that possible cost could be. And then I wanted to, if anybody had any questions, you know, go ahead and ask. But we have one that has two different options. First option is at $540,000. The other one, same quote, or the person, janitorial service, has an option 2 at $420,000. Option 1 would be the one I would want to go with, most likely, just because I don't know if we'd have the staff to do that ourselves. And I think the way that things are set up, since we've even put this out for bid, is changed on how the layout will be with the building. So, and then you can see that the other cleaning outfit, they sent a bid, and that came out to $700,000. Now keep in mind, when we sent these out, or when I sent these out, we were asking them to do all the supplies, have all the equipment to bring it with them. And so that's probably some of the variables you'll see in the one talks about it a little bit more on some of the unsure unknowns. And then we're looking at about 50,000 square feet of new building that is right around there that will be getting cleaned. So
Does that include this building?
it includes all the buildings that we currently have, so that would include even the current court facility until the end of June, mental health, DHS, the annex, this building, and then the new court facility, or Justice Center.
Sorry, Eric, do you have figures on what we currently spend on the cleaning?
Well, currently without a courthouse, it's $6,500 a month. When we did have the old courthouse, I believe it was like 14,000. And I'm trying to think of the square footage that was actually cleaned in the old courthouse. It was maybe,
30,000 overall, correct?
yeah, it was probably maybe 10,000 square foot, maybe, that we would have cleaned. The rest of it would have been jail or secured area.
So, 20-ish historically for a smaller building than what we're doing currently.
And then excuse me, the one request I had for them too was to have somebody there during the day, one person during the day at the new facility. That way that we could keep up on the bathrooms, the cleaning stuff that wouldn't really affect the overall day-to-day, that then the night shift wouldn't have to worry about doing. And at that same time, we were looking at having to go into some secured areas during work hours, but you know, there are a lot of variables, not understanding what our consumption will be in that building from just supplies alone.
And Kirk, how time sensitive? Good for 60 days? Or how?
Well, our contract ends the end of this month, currently. So they did not write on here how long their bids were good for, but our contract is up at the end of this month. And these are the only two that I had actually respond back. And it's the same, the one contractor was even reluctant to kind of bid it, because they were afraid that they're afraid of how they're gonna get the manpower, because everybody's up against manpower problems. I mean, they thought they could do it, but it's just, they're struggling at some of their other spots too, just to get people that want to do that.
So effectively, a decision needs to be made by the end of the month, or needs to be made tonight on it?
Well, preferably sooner than later.
All right, any questions or thoughts from the board?
Thank you for getting that together for us.
Thank you.
I agree, Kurt, thank you. Do we want to take out low bid tonight, or do you want to think on it more? And I know we meet at least once more this week, we're probably gonna meet on Friday too, or something if we needed to.
Okay.
But it wouldn't hurt my feelings to think on it a little bit, but
Yeah, I know too.
you okay with that too?
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
Okay, so Kurt, we hope to have an answer to you by Friday, if that's fine.
That's fine.
Okay. Number 5 on the agenda tonight is consider approval of ARPA funded projects.
Good evening. I have 4 projects for you to consider for approval tonight. The first is approving use of ARPA funds for purchase of office furniture and supplies. Be it resolved, the Warren County Board of Supervisors hereby approves the use of ARPA funds, $7,534.76 for purchase of office furniture and supplies for the Warren County Treasurer's Office.
Motion?
Second. Discussion from the board? Roll call vote, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
DeCook.
Aye, motion carries.
The second one is approving use of ARPA funds for purchase of kitchen equipment for the Warren County Justice Center. Be it resolved that the Warren County Board of Supervisors hereby approves the use of ARPA funds, $62,000 for purchase of kitchen equipment for the Warren County Justice Center kitchen.
I make that motion?
Second. Any discussion? Was that inclusive of your smoker request or no?
I believe everything on the list was included.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
DeCook.
Aye, motion carries.
The third one, approving use of ARPA funds for purchase of critical testing solution software. Be it resolved that the Warren County Board of Supervisors hereby approves the use of ARPA funds in the amount of $2,195 for critical testing solution software for the Sheriff's Office.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
DeCook.
Aye. Motion carries.
The fourth and last one for this evening, approving use of ARPA funds for acquisition of election equipment. Be it resolved that the Warren County Board of Supervisors hereby approves the use of ARPA funds in the amount of $100,000 for acquisition of election equipment from an approved vendor.
I'll make that motion?
Second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
No.
DeCook.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Budget report.
All right, so, starting with the expenses, the treasurer, attorney, and recorder's office, all are a little high on their employee costs and plan to be, included in the amendment. I'm hoping to have that amendment public hearing, in the second meeting in May. Capital projects, again, we're wrapping up that 911 communication tower, and those were not budgeted for this fiscal year, so those expenses. HVAC, Kirk and I are actually working on, putting together any expense that we can transfer to ARPA, and I don't think we'll need to do an amendment for that part, because I think we will have to, but we won't have to amend his budget, we'll just have to amend ARPA and move what we've paid over there. So we're working on that. Hopefully that should be resolved by next month's budget reports. General services, this is just timing of renewals, things that we pay up front, and then we've paid, it's an accrued payment from fiscal year 21 of $56,000. I will likely amend for that, just to be safe as we get towards the end of the year. And then zoning, again, this is employee expenses are over, so that's gonna be amended for, along with, the historic preservation grant that we will amend for both the expense and the revenue. And then last, juvenile probation, seems all of the legal and court-related services and detention services went up quite a bit in this fiscal year and will have to be amended for. Questions?
Thank you.
Alright, so the revenues. Treasurer's office, most all of their fee revenue, is actually down in this fiscal year. Driver's license fees are up. The sheriff's office is the timing of some of their law enforcement payments, that we have still yet to receive this year. And then we do a $60,000 prisoner room and board transfer, that happens at the end of the year. For the clerk of court, district court fee revenue is down. Department of Human Services, we have an LAE reimbursement that will go in for this month, that will bring us closer to our budgeted amount. And then for nutrition, that's one where I've been kind of holding off on doing our general fund transfer, just watching the fund budget to see if we need to do the full transfer amount or if we can keep some of the budgeted transfer in our general funds. Let's see. And then number 6, district court, we've just received a lot in the miscellaneous reimbursements in this fiscal year than we did last year. And we kind of estimate their revenues each year based on historical data. Capital projects, we received the unbudgeted bond funds for the 911 project, and we have not completed the $1.2 million transfer for the Justice Center, which counts as revenue, would count as revenue in the capital projects account, which is why that's down. And then number 8, every month we are getting closer and closer to being where we should be with the Liberty Center sewer. So that is catching up. We're at 75% through the budget, and that's at about 69%, so we're getting there. Finally, we've just got the fund balances on the last page. The only one that's kind of note is the attorney fund, which will be fixed with the amendment. There was a transfer amount that was approved, but it still has to be amended for, so that fund balance will be fixed with that upcoming amendment. Any questions? Thank you.
I also hope you feel better. It looks like we've got a few colds coming around the office. So do heal up, get better soon. Just wanted to point out that our recorder is at 98.35% of revenues for the year. Holly is doing a swell job in the recorder's office, and she will exceed our goal, or her goal for revenue. So nice job, Holly, if you're watching. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.
All right, receive and file reports. We have 2 tonight, the recorder's office and general assistance. Do we have a motion to receive and file those reports?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Sorry.
You're right. A motion and a
Slow on
second.
the trigger tonight.
You're okay. Motion and a second. Roll call, please.
McIntyre.
Aye.
Peter.
Aye.
DeCook.
Aye. And next up on the meeting is supervisor's report, but either of my colleagues like to go first.
I'm gonna pass tonight.
Okay, all right. I met with zoning separately these departments, heads, zoning director, engineer, county attorney, and county treasurer. Also separately met with the recorder, GIS coordinator, assessor, 911 director, and EMA coordinator. I attended our quarterly safety meeting. Was part of the interviews for the position of zoning administrator. We had 2 work sessions and a special ARPA work session. Attended the ISIX Region 1 RIC meeting. Warren County Board of Supervisors and 911 Joint Service Board meeting, and met with member of the public. We had a closed session, actually two, and then we had a meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal. I'm also, this meeting's going short, but we've all been here a long time today, and I'm also feeling a bit under the weather, so I'll double up for the next one. With that, public input, public comments, we limit 3 minutes per individual. The board will not take any action on the comments due to the requirements of the open meetings law, but may do so in the future. No public input allowed for any of today's agenda items. Is there anyone from the public or online who would like to comment publicly? Seeing none, our next meeting date will be held May 3, 2022 at 9:30 in the morning. With that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Roll call, please.
McIntyre?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
DeCook?
Aye. Motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you all for that.
Thank you. John said it's gonna be a long meeting.